Okay, we're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. It's Tuesday, July 27th, 2021. Before we do the pledge, though, let's all have a moment of silence for Mike Pee Wee Fark, who passed away. Okay. Did he sit in that seat?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Big shoes, big seat.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Born and unborn.
Okay, minutes and reports received and filed.
We have none.
Okay. Commissioner Committee Liaison Reports, upcoming meetings, events. None?
We got
Okay.
the livestock auction tomorrow night at the fair. Got our JCREP investor meeting Thursday for an update. I see Larry's here, so we might get a preview. Fair's all week, I think it ends Saturday. Sunday? So, you know where John's house is, you can go over there and party, because you know where he's gonna be busy at.
That's right.
I think that's about it until next week. We're gonna have the ham and bacon auction breakfast Friday morning,
Friday.
so. That's it.
In addition to what Jeff said, I have an Apache Flats Business Association meeting on Thursday morning.
Well, we have sidewalk sale Wednesday through Saturday, so we could put some of these chairs outside, you know, that they're losing screws and stuff, get rid of surplus. Then we have the visitation for Pee Wee Friday, 3:30 to 7, funerals at 9 a.m. on Saturday. And then Saturday is also the submarine USS Missouri's 11th birthday, so celebrate that. too.
We're not getting rid of things just because they have the screw loose, are we? I mean, you're still
We'd have to get rid of you.
pitching that one up there for you.
I-
All right.
Okay,
Yes, back.
well, let's keep moving ahead because we got two presentations. Presentation from Steve Serlock on the Missouri Patriots Day event, 9/11/2021.
Thanks for having me.
Morning.
Hi, Steve.
We'll
Thank you, sir.
outline what's going on.
Thanks, sir.
I'll just stand up here.
Get close to a mic.
You can sit there or stand, whatever you want.
Here,
to
you
do.
stand close to these.
Okay. On behalf of the Missouri Patriots Day Committee 2021, we'd like to thank you for this opportunity to talk to you. The committee has been meeting for over a year now to plan this event. Kind of start off with, can anybody remember 20 years ago what you were doing when the towers were hit?
Exactly.
You bet.
Where you were at, what was going on and stuff?
Yep.
I know I was in the office and all of a sudden nobody was there. And then started looking around the building and everybody's in front of a TV. So, but this year is the 20th anniversary. It's on Saturday. And we have a 2-day event planned for the Capitol. And it's called, like I said, Missouri Patriot Day. It starts Friday evening with an opening ceremony. And we're going to read all 2,977 names. High school students are going to read them. Students of first responders and veterans and stuff are going to read all the names. It's probably going to run from 7 o'clock till midnight. And it's going to be, what I want to say, it's going to commemorate all those who perished that day. And besides keynote speaker and a lot of pomp and circumstance with bagpipes and stuff and bell ceremonies and taps. It's going to be an evening to view. So And we're hoping to put lights on the backside of the Capitol like they do in New York, where it shows the two towers, symbolize that. So that would pretty well be Friday evening. And Saturday morning, we're going to start out with the Stephen Stiller's 5K run. Starts at the Capitol and goes down to Riverside Park and back. This is it's a run walk, and you can, a lot of firefighters sign up with it with their full gear on, backpack, gear and stuff like that. It weighs about 70 pounds. And they either run or walk it. And past year, Jeff City won the trophy for doing that. So that's pretty cool. But Stephen Stiller was one of the firefighters that was off duty. He ran to the station, got his gear, ran to the towers, got in the towers, and number 2 collapsed on him. So Frank, his brother, has taken up this foundation to help out firefighters and other first responders on this. So at 10:30 that morning, on Saturday morning, there'll be a rededication of the Veterans Memorial at Jeff City Police Department. The Jeff City Veterans Council will be doing that at 10:30, and it'll take about half an hour or so. And then at noon, there'll be a parade through the downtown area with, it's going to be a mix of first responders, veterans, military, going from, excuse me, the Christmas parade, right, we're shortening it up a little bit and turn at Adams Street and go back to the Capitol. Also starting at 8:30 that morning, the Firefighters Association of Missouri is going to be selling pulled pork sandwiches and nachos at Sullinger Center to help raise money for the Firefighters Memorial in Kingdom City. I don't know if anybody's ever seen the Firefighters Memorial in Kingdom City, but the statue of the kneeling firefighter, that statue was in New York City on the docks when 9/11 happened, and it was coming over from Europe. So the Firefighters Association of Missouri gave that statue to New York City firefighters and first responders up there, and we commissioned another one, and the second one is in Kingdom City, standing up there. So a little history there. Further, we're having a little contest on the parade. The one that raises the most money is going to get a nice trophy. It's an American flag trophy made by Bear Reuter, so it's going to be kind of cool. So that's going to wind up the day. There's some other surprises in there that we have to nail down yet. There's a couple of gentlemen coming in next Monday, and hopefully we're going to have the New York City Steel here as static displays around the Capitol and stuff. So a lot of people come by and watch that. He supposedly has recordings of Flight 93 of, Todd Beamer said, "Let's go" and stuff on there. So, but what's kind of cool too, I know you don't all have this, but on the front page here, I'll do this. We're going to sell T-shirts like this is on the back page, what I handed the commissioners. We had a poster contest back in January for statewide, and we received 54 posters, and we went through a contest of selecting the poster, which was going to be the theme of our event. And so the judges, anywhere from Mrs. Parsons, Fire Marshal, and several others, they went through a mathematical process 3 different times, and they came down with this poster here, and as our theme. It's a pencil drawn poster, and then we didn't know the names of the people or where they came from or anything, because just the picture was up above. So we turned the poster over after we decided to have that poster, and it was a student from Blair Oaks, and his name was Garrett Horn, and his grandfather is Dennis Horn, who's a retired Jeff City firefighter. So how appropriate is that and we didn't know that at all. These shirts are going to be for sale. We should have them done by the end of the week. We also commissioned these hats. They have the United States flag on it, and remember 9/11, have the Pentagon on it, United We Stand, Never Forget, and Flight 93 is on the front. And the why we're doing this and this is we have the expenses. And we have expenses anywhere from, I like to say, porta potties to the guest speaker. So we're trying to raise money to pay off the expenses, and we're selling the hats for $20 and the t-shirts for $20. So, but if anybody's interested in, the commissioners
Yeah, I'll
buy a
have-
hat. They're $20 each, but they're one of a kind. You won't see another one like it anyplace.
Sam, I bought 10, so,
Well, I'm gonna, we will be selling these at my store, so I will probably match
I gotta wait till after the ham auction.
some of that. Yeah,
Have anything left.
yeah.
Might have to wait till next week
Yeah.
to buy one.
But
Nice looking
anyway,
hat.
it's gonna be a solemn service. Like the parades, you know, no throwing candy, sirens, horns, or anything like that. It's a commemoration of all those who have fallen, so. Hope to see a lot of people out there mingling and stuff, Friday evening, Saturday, so, any questions or anything, or?
Can you say who your keynote speaker is?
We hope to nail that down next Monday. We have a good idea who it is, but I really don't want to say right now who it is, but if it happens, it'd be impressive. So, thank you all.
Thanks, Steve.
Steve, thank you
Thanks,
very
Steve.
much. Steve he's just worked tirelessly on this thing, everything from the application for recognition of exemption of a 501c3. This guy is really on the ball, and the community has responded, and I hope they continue to respond. I've got the privilege of being the treasurer, which he roped me into, but no, it's been a pleasure, and we look for a really successful event, and a solemn event for the community.
Yeah.
Thank
The
you.
committee has been working on this for over a year, and there's over 40 people in the committee across of government, first responders, veterans, military. So all that's going to be intertwined in the whole 2 days. Like at the beginning of the 5K run, we're having an American flag held up by a fire truck. And then at Madison High Street, we're also grabbing an American flag up there, so there's going to be 2 of them, where the 5K goes through, and then the parade will go through that later on. So it's going to be a day to remember, and just hope it's 70 degrees. So thank you all.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay, then I have been learning more about broadband than, I don't know if I really want to or not, but Roger Kleppel and Thane Barton are here from Three Rivers to make just a short presentation, but I've learned more talking to Roger.
Might be scary.
No, it's,
Hey, Roger, how you doing?
Sam, I think you mentioned Missy, or?
yeah, give Missy and give Jeff from the News Tribune one too, if you would.
And what I've got here is,
Yes.
Roger Kleppel, CEO of Three Rivers Electric Cooperative, and Payne Martin, the
Yeah, Roger,
Assistant
kind
CEO.
of speak into the microphone.
Oh, yeah.
It's, please.
I'm Roger Kleppel, CEO of Three Rivers Electric Cooperative, and Thane Barton, Assistant CEO with Three Rivers. And of course, most people in the room are probably aware that cooperatives across the state, some cooperatives across the state, including 2 of our neighbors, have been providing rural broadband. And I know that in a previous meeting, there was a discussion about that here. Thane attended on Three Rivers' behalf. But in talking to Sam recently and looking at options for rural broadband in Cole County, it kind of came to light that, I guess I'll call it some lack of knowledge or ignorance of some of the funding that's already been thrown out there for satisfying part of the rural broadband need. And the two big pockets of money that I'm talking about are the Connect America Fund 2 auction, which the FCC did back in 2018, and the Rural Digital Opportunity Fund, which the FCC did late last year. And the focus today will mostly be on the Connect America Fund 2, and the reason I bring that up is it takes a while for the FCC to sort things out and to actually give approval and start giving funding to these organizations. But there were two organizations, the Rural Electric Cooperative Consortium, which really is, in Cole County, is Como Electric and their Como Connect product, and Whisper ISP, or Whisper Wireless, who is a wireless provider. And both of these providers bid in rural Cole County through the FCC auction to serve certain areas, which the map in front of you shows. And they have an obligation to provide service in those areas within a timeline. And that timeline, just so you know, I think it has to be, they have to serve 40% of the area they bid within 3 years after they receive final approval. So in Whisper's case, they received final approval in February of 2020. So according to FCC, by February 2023, they should have that 40% served. And in talking to Commissioner Bushman, I realized that he was completely unaware of this.
Yeah.
And I know that Cole County, and all the counties, have recently received some funding or a promise to fund some American Rescue Plan infrastructure bill. I know Cole County, as all counties, has more infrastructure than just broadband. And I just wanted to make this commission aware that this is out there. And to me, if you're, whether it's the city of Jefferson or Cole County or Osage County, or any county, if you're looking at rural broadband, you ought to at least take a look at who's receiving some money out here, and are they going to fulfill that obligation, and should they be invited to the table? And is their product one that you think satisfies the needs of Cole County? Whisper Wireless, it took them a while to get going. You know, I said they received final approval in February 2020. Of course, as all of us know, COVID slowed everything down, including their implementation. They have since started providing some wireless service in Osage County. As a matter of fact, I think Thane, who's here with me, he hooked up to a Whisper Wireless last week, and he lives right across the Osage River outside of Cole County. We have a conference call with Whisper Wireless this Friday, and we plan to sit down with them and find out what's their plans, how do they plan to expand. We will ask them,
Have them
when will
reach
that go
out
into
to
Cole
us.
County?
Because all this orange is Whisper. I mean, it's already, which really blew my mind, because I've never heard of them. I wasn't even aware of this.
Yeah, they have a huge obligation, and if you're looking at this map, those green dots represent Three Rivers meters that we serve. Maybe a house, maybe a barn, you know, we're not real sure, you know what I'm saying? We're just plopped our meters on this map. Where you're seeing areas where there isn't green dots, that's going to be where Ameren serves. You can't talk rural Cole County without also including Ameren in the discussion, because, you know, they have customers who also need rural broadband. So we think that at this point, with this FCC auction being out there and with Whisper receiving money and Whisper starting to make a presence in the area now being Osage County, we think that within a month or two, maybe a little bit longer, we will all know a little bit more about their product, how satisfied people are with it, and I think it's something that this commission could consider as they look at helping fund rural broadband. And again, I know you've got a lot more demands than just rural broadband. This in no way, I want to make sure I make it clear, I fully support Calabite and Como and their product. I know they can deliver, but I also know it's very expensive. And as you get out into the rural areas, it's harder and harder to justify the cost of a fiber to the home project. As you get closer into Jeff City, it probably makes all the sense in the world. and they are a wonderful solution. But this Whisper, I think, is an opportunity for all the counties, but especially Cole and Osage in this area that I'm concerned about, to maybe look at another vendor out there that's providing this service, and maybe they can provide a great service with rural broadband at a smaller cost than what another solution might be. And I'm doing a lot of talking, so I mean, I don't claim to be the expert on broadband, except Three Rivers, I guess in looking at broadband to make the determination that it didn't make sense for us, we learned a lot about broadband. And we learned a lot about these auctions and just a lot of public information out there that honestly, if you haven't sat down and looked at this, you're completely unaware of. And that's what I
Yeah.
found out in talking to the commission.
Yes, Larry?
Do you know what kind of funding, like for Polk County, the Whisper has, and what their obligation is?
I do. I shared.
We had about a 4-page email that had a whole lot of information in it the other day. We might just forward that to Larry, because.
And I'd be happy to do that.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of information in there.
But yes, Whisper, through the CAF2 auction, they received $2,362,000 that they would receive over 10 years to provide broadband to 2,315 locations in Cole County. And this is all public knowledge, so I'm not telling you anything confidential. This is on the FCC website, which is where we get it. Now, saying you're going to do it and doing it are two different things. And again, I could sit here and support what Como and Callaway are doing because I've seen their product. We've not yet seen that with Whisper, but within a few months, we will have, we think, and we might be 100% behind them. So we think it's an opportunity. To do fiber to the home, as Thane probably explained before, you've got to get on every one of our poles. We have to engineer it to make sure the pole's strong enough. If it's not, we have to change it out and put a taller, bigger one in. So it takes a lot of infrastructure to support a fiber to the home.
And you have talked to Como and
Oh, yeah, we're
and,
still talking.
Callaway and said you would strengthen your poles or replace your poles to accommodate theirs, which, I think is
Right, and we would have
commendable,
to,
so.
yeah, we would have to come up with an agreement on, the cost to do that. How do we split that? There's a big cost to
Yeah.
changing poles, but yes, we're talking to them. There may be a proposal to this commission that comes from Como and Callaway saying, hey, here's what we can do, or here's what we can't do. We'll be at that table, we'll support that, but I don't want to water down the importance of, if I were in your shoes, I would want to take a look at everybody, all the players, including, in this case, Whisper, and anyone who receives final approval in RDOF, the Rural Digital Opportunity Fund. That may be months before we hear that, but.
Yeah, I think we have a broadband task force, and I think probably we need to talk to Whisper or have them before we go much farther, because this is, this was all news to me.
Yeah, and you can tell, you see the orange on here, so to me, it's hard to look at Cole County and not include Whisper and Como, because obviously they already have a presence. Calabyte's not on this map because they weren't an auction recipient, but they also have a large presence down around the Wardsville area. So I think those three are all very, very important people to talk to as you're looking at solutions for Cole County.
Any other questions? Roger? Good Westphalia line too, right?
That's
Still-
right, yes.
Yeah.
Lincoln graduate, let's go there.
Yeah, he was one of our students in free enterprise.
That's right.
We-
Jeff and I
we
studied hard
trained him.
together.
And we don't have any stories, so,
No. Nothing more to say about that.
no questions.
Nope,
You're a witness.
nope, thank you, Roger.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to talk. Any
Yeah.
questions, please feel free to email. We'll pass it.
You got some business cards?
I do.
Okay. And we'll give them a business card too
Thanks,
back
Roger.
there, but, give Larry and
But we appreciate the opportunity to come and talk about it. Please, any questions, don't hesitate.
Hey,
to-
Thing, what do you think of their service?
I knew you were gonna ask that question. I've not had any problems with it yet. I signed up for a 50 megabyte package. Have not had any issues with it at all. Currently, before that, I was on Radio Wire, which is another wireless product that, for my needs, it wasn't bad. It just was a little more spotty, not probably as reliable. I haven't really, I went on vacation as soon as I signed up, so I have not had the kids come home and try to do some streaming movies and really put it to the test or any sort of gaming or anything like that. But that's on the plan, and I'll be getting with Roger and our team, letting them know how we do, because we're very interested on the product as well, whether or not it's something that we can encourage our membership to be a part of as a possible solution as well, at least as one of the players in the auction funds, so.
Okay,
So
We hate
we'll
to stand
keep-
behind the product.
yeah, yeah, well, okay,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks, guys, appreciate it.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, bids and contracts, approval and signing of Show Me Healthy Women Program Agreement.
Good morning.
Morning.
These are just 2 renewals with JCMG as part of the Show Me Healthy Women contract. If a lady comes in for screening at our office for some of the services and they need further cancer screenings or mammograms, JCMG provides the service at the contracted rate set by DHSS, and then we reimburse them through the Show Me Healthy Women contract. And there's 2 agreements here, one for the surgery center and one for the regular office, depending on what service they need.
Okay. Should we do this in 2 motions?
Sure.
Okay.
You wanna do
I'll offer a motion to sign the independent contractor agreement. Cole County Health Department intends to contract with Jefferson City Medical Group for this performance of certain tasks, as explained by Christie.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And this is another motion, Cole County Health Department contract with JCMG Auxiliary Service of certain tasks, as explained by Christie.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Signing of 2021-18 janitorial contract.
This contract was awarded last week and is with Hilliard for the janitorial supplies, and it's just the signing of the contract.
You're gonna make me put my glasses on. All right, make a motion to sign the janitorial supplies contract with Hilliard.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Do we have any unfinished business? Okay, new business, accounts payable review.
I'd ask for approval of accounts payable pending review.
Motion to approve accounts payable pending review.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Amendment of wastewater treatment system ordinance.
Okay. So, I'll go ahead and pass out some of these copies, in case you don't have it, of the ordinance as it is now.
We talked about this a while back.
Yeah, we did, we talked about it. I don't remember if they were here for this. Harry was here at that time or not.
Oh, we can. We went.
And then there's, you already know about the regional.
Yeah. No, I just invited, no, I just invited.
One of them, but then there's gonna be, so at 3:3.
We can. Okay, well,
Okay. So, hey, Joe.
yeah, we might do it at the end,
This is.
before we go into
To
closed.
amend it.
Yeah, I did say, okay. Let me do the sheriff's salary in the middle.
Well, if we're gonna do it, maybe we wanna do it do both of those directions. You know what I'm saying? Because we've got the 1.10,
Right,
then you pointed out there's a typo back here,
right.
so that would have to be included too, 3.3.
Right. We can discuss it now.
Yeah, and then we'll do it back to again.
Before we get going on that, I do want to introduce, well, I think most of you know Brandon Meeber. He is back. He had been with us and then has came back for employment after a short stint at up near Fulton with the animal research. And then Luke Wilbur's a recent hire with environmental public health. So EPHS, he's worked at Lincoln University from around here, so Luke Wilbur's. So, anyway. Okay, so we've had issues sometimes with on-site wastewater treatment as far as when they're tied into a person's property and need to be tied into a person's property. These are individual septic systems, and obviously if you have city sewer or whatever, that we're not talking about that. That's something that that's their own. There's a whole different system where that goes through. On-site wastewater means on that piece of property, which is tied into a home, that is your system. It has to function properly, it has to work properly, it's a pretty important system. And what we're running into is when they're not installed correctly, that most people's property, you might have an acre, more or less, sometimes a lot more, but quite often, an acre or less, and there's not much room if you don't get a properly functioning system installed correctly the first time, excuse me, to have your waste work the way it's supposed to and handled on that, excuse me, handled on that actual property. And so that is the reason for coming here today. Sometimes what's going on is that sometimes homeowners will want to install their own system. They have not gone through a course to understand exactly how to do that system, to install it properly. There's quite a, this is the book that kind of shows what you all need to do to properly install a system. This is our DHSS regs and rules, and so there's a lot in this that people need to know. Most homeowners don't want to read through all this or go to a course to understand that. And that's what the reason for the amendment to 1.10 on the ordinance is that's why we're asking for that today. So you've got copies of it. Basically, we're recommending to just take out. So 1.10 says it shall be a violation of these regulations to construct or perform major modifications of an on-site wastewater treatment system unless the installer is registered with the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services. And we just want to, that's where we want to stop it right there, and remove the next sentence, which talks about the property owner who can, the rest of it says a property owner who constructs or effects a major modification of an on-site wastewater treatment system for his or her own residence upon his or her own property shall not be required to be registered as allowed in section 701.025 to .059 RISMO. And so we're wanting to amend that to take that off. They can still, homeowners could still do their own property. They would just need to have the proper certification. Go through the course and pass.
Makes sense to me.
I thought we already did this, so I guess we went through a lot of it. We talked to the HBA and
Yes.
Board of Realtors to make sure there were no qualms about it. But bottom line is this, people are trying to save money on it. It costs a lot of money to get these systems put in, and so then it doesn't get put in right. And then the consumer comes out and buys that house, and it may have only been in there for 2 or 3 months without any family in there even using it, and they don't find out it doesn't work until after the fact, so there's just no way around it for them. So, I think it protects the consumer, and it's a good change.
I do too, yeah. It makes sense to me, so I'm good.
We're gonna have an ordinance for you to sign. Actually, I had it here, but then Joe pointed out another thing that needed to be changed
Okay.
in the current wastewater treatment. It's a typo, so I'll have to add that to this. So
Should we talk about that now? It's a very limited, or just,
I don't, is it that big a deal?
no, it's just, there's just a typo where it says 1.8 and it should say 1.6, or is it vice versa? Let me
Vice
see.
versa. So I'm gonna add, he just pointed that out
Yeah.
today, so I'm gonna add that to this, so we can knock out both of those changes at the same time with the amending ordinance.
Okay.
And, okay, so will we have to come back and do any of this again, or is that, it'll just be something for them to sign?
I'll just add that to this, and then we just bring it, they have to vote on it officially to make that change.
Okay.
I'll put it on next week's agenda.
Yeah,
That's fine.
that'd work.
You probably shouldn't even have to come up for that,
Yeah.
unless
I'll
you're out
just-
there for something
Joe, I
else.
can just give it to
Okay.
him.
Unless you like
Do-
having meetings to have meetings.
No, I'm more interested in the vote on today's information, because the other is just a typo, but,
But actually, they're not
Today.
voting on
Oh,
anything
okay.
today, because to affect the change, they're going to have to sign an ordinance,
okay.
so.
But I think we're good on it.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
That sounds good.
You know, barring something unforeseen, you know,
So we don't need to approve anything until we have the actual ordinance.
yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
which I had, but then Joe pointed out another thing that needed to be changed, the
Yeah.
typo. So, unless you want to sign two ordinances.
no, you're good.
All right, thank you.
You might wash my car, though. No, oh.
Well, it might cost you.
Okay, we're gonna do Sheriff's Department salary adjustment, and then I'm gonna call on Larry to give us an update on our economic development.
So I'm here to talk to you about two topics as far as the Sheriff's Department salary. One is my chief deputy. I want to be able to give him a raise. Aaron has been in the jail patrol division, a detective, undercover, a detective sergeant. He ran support services, and now he's my chief deputy. So pretty much he's done everything in my department that there's possible to do. So his knowledge of doing that position is immeasurable. He does several different things that he takes care of, internal affairs, vehicles, but a couple of the things that he's been added to is one, there's been a lot more legal actions here lately that he's working with Jill a lot with. And then I want to put somebody and the only words I can think of, and please don't make fun of it, but the only thing I can think of to call it is the facilities ambassador. I have several different things going on in my facility. I have accurate controls with the security electronics. I've got internal doors. We have the security, the physical that Greg takes care of. But the problem is, everybody takes care. There's one person that does a little bit of everything in there, and what I need one person to be able to keep on top of all that, because we're lacking on some of the consistency and the continuity of what we need to be doing to make sure that we are the essential items that need to be done over there are getting done. They are getting done now. I just think they could be done better if we do this. Some of the other things that I've been pushed on his plate is we've had some issues with, we have the body cams. Well, we've had some issues with the company, so he's been dealing with those one-on-one. So there's a lot more responsibilities on his plate than it was whenever he first took over. So I'm looking at doing a $15,000 a year raise for him. This would only be $7,500 this year. I do have it in my budget. It would be budget neutral to do so because it'd only be $75,000 this year, and I have $51,000 I think right now because of vacant positions. So if you don't have any questions, I got another topic I want to talk about. If you have questions, I'd be glad to listen to them.
You left out, it keeps you out of trouble.
Well, I was going to say trouble, jail. There's a lot of things in there
Yeah.
that he keeps me out of. Yes.
Yes. How many years has he been with us?
20. 23? Yeah, 23 years.
Yes.
So, like I said, simply put, it would be tough for me to do that, to run that organization over there without him. Any questions? So I'll go to the second topic. Second thing I want to go into is, I'm 13 down right now in the jail. We stopped the bleed. I don't know if you remember, we were 22 down for a while. I've stopped the bleed by sending some of the jail staff and getting them post-certified. That's encouraged people to come and work at the jail or to keep them there. But now, more so to keep them there. But now I need to do something to bring people in. So I want to do some incentive pay. A deputy that has 1 year experience, I'd like to give him one-time $3,000 payment. That would be, he'd have to sign a 2-year agreement saying he has to stay with us for 2 years. He or she has to stay with us for 2 years. And then on jailers, I want to do $2,000. Again, 1 year of experience in the jail, and then they would have to, and they'd have to go through our whole process. And then they would have to sign a 2-year agreement also. Again, I have this, as of today, which I still have open positions, so I'm going to have more going forward. I have $51,600 right now in surplus because of empty positions. So I would, everything I'm proposing today would be budget neutral, would not affect my budget.
And Kristen said this would also qualify for.
She did say, we talked about it, that
Yeah.
it could qualify for the,
Yeah.
was it ARCO or ARC, what is it?
ARPA.
ARPA, whatever.
Yeah.
It could qualify for
Yeah.
that.
So there are a couple of different options in there. There was a White House paper that came out focusing on policing and staffing of policing. There's also some options for incentives to rehire the workforce. Both of those are options in there. I just learned about John's plan this morning, so I haven't
Yeah.
dug into it completely, but I think that there are some options out there with the ARPA funding that we could possibly use it for this.
And this would be just for the remainder of this year. Because I can't budget for next year with it, because I don't know what my budget will be. But, so it would just be for the remainder of this year to get people on. And once I get to full staff, then we would stop, of course. If that ever happens.
So it would be any new hires from now until
New
December.
hires, yes. New hires only. And again, they would have to have that year experience, because it really doesn't do me any good for someone just to come off the street. I'm looking for those experienced people.
Yeah, I think this is kind of it's something that's affecting all of our law enforcement. I was
Yes.
talking to JCPD and they are down considerably as well.
Well, and we're all, I mean, this
Yeah.
is such a small area with a lot of different law enforcement agencies, so we're sharing the same pool. So hopefully what I'm trying to do is, I'm trying to, to steal from other agencies, and then hopefully by them signing a 2-year agreement, by the time that 2 years up, they see that this is a good place to work, and they don't want to leave after that, so that's my plan. I should be getting text messages from other sheriffs here real soon. Because I did not tell the other sheriffs I was going to do this, so.
Those other sheriffs are going to be in counties that have ARPA money as well, you know?
They will be. And one of them, Mike Bonham in Osage County, he's actually sick right now, so he can't even defend himself, but I'm taking all of his people.
Jill, there's no issue with paying an incentive up front for a hire.
You're paying for them to do a particular activity, which is signing that 2-year agreement. And we're also going to, like we did with the post-training,
Yes.
put in a provision that if you do not stay those 2 years, the money comes back, which we could take them next door to small claims if we had to.
And the other thing is with patrol deputies, I require the patrol deputies to live inside Cole County. So and I know that there are I know of 2 people that want to come to work for me, but they can't afford to move into the county from where they're at now. So I'm hoping the $3,000 would be able to be a stipend for them, or give them some extra money to be able to move into Cole County.
And it's for future services that they're performing,
Yes.
as opposed to retroactive increases,
Well,
which are
it's
problems.
for a current activity, which is
Well.
signing that agreement.
Right,
In exchange for signing that agreement, you get $3,000.
right. Is this a two-motion issue or a one-motion issue?
Give me two, one for
Right.
Aaron, and then for the,
Well, we just got to pay for them, so Aaron's to go through. So if we sign to pay for them.
Yeah, I
that's
think
Oh.
the
action
signature
taken.
on the pay
Oh,
form is.
that takes care of
I don't
his?
really need a separate
Okay.
motion.
All right.
So, I mean, we talked about it, and we kind of did the same thing with the post-training. We were just losing them after we trained them and had a investment in them, and so this is a upfront incentive, and we talked about whether this would tick off some of the existing employees, but they're already making the higher salary. So John said he could take care of that, he could handle it, so.
Well, we'll see.
I mean, we gotta get creative with the stuff right
Yeah.
now. It's-
That, creative is the exact word, and that's the verbiage that's being used for law enforcement across the way.
We've got the money in there from the surplus for the empty spots, so if we can use that to fill some spots, I think it's a move we can try, and, you know, like I said, the other sheriffs, hopefully they're not listening, and we can get ahead of the curve on it.
yeah.
Well, I got
We'll
my
get
first text.
signed
so-
on for 2 years, so
I'm,
Wow, I
I'm
can't believe
fine,
they listen to
I'm
the
fine with it too,
commission.
so.
I thought everybody did. Yeah, all right.
I'll make a motion to follow through with the sheriff's request for the one-time incentive pay for jailers
Jailers
and deputies
For 2021.
for 2021.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Thank you.
run like hell.
I am.
And Larry, I should have had you speak after Roger, but, oh,
That's new employees.
yeah, but he doesn't, he only has
Yes,
one
new
bullet.
employees only.
No. Do you have-
Yeah, for itself.
Oh.
It's sitting here.
I should have had you speak after Roger,
Well,
but,
Larry's not here to ask for money, so.
no, no.
Where are you?
Never know.
You should have went before the sheriff.
You want to give us an update on economic development?
Thank you. I'm Larry Cobb with the Jefferson City Regional Economic Development Partnership, which we now go by JC Rep. As of July 1st, we officially hired our first person, Missy Bono, who is here with us also as our VP for Economic Development. We're in the process of finalizing our CEO search. It's been a very active search for about 2 months now, and we should be having an announcement pretty soon. One of the things that I've talked to all the commissioners about, and it's been discussed, is broadband is one of our major initiatives for the new CEO when they come on board. And we think there's opportunity to work with the city and county in particular at this time, to help organize and facilitate trying to get and understand, as all of us just found out a lot more this morning, to work with these people. The county, I don't think, has a broadband expert. We don't have a broadband expert, but, you know, we hope we can find one, and through an initiative, bring everything under one roof to be able to report back and forth. Any questions?
Get off easy today. Sheriff wore us
Well,
down.
Yeah,
Really, we talked quite a bit, Sam, back and forth, and, you know.
and Jeff's on your committee too, right?
Huh?
Jeff's on the committee,
Yeah,
right?
they
Yes.
probably want to talk to you about that too. but-
And our organization won't go into it a lot, but it's an investor organization, and we've been out talking to all the investors around the community interested strictly in economic development. Of course, broadband falls right into that because of the needs of people working from home, different things with all organizations. Broadband is a big issue, so we're going to be very, very on top of it, we hope.
Larry, I want to congratulate you on your efforts and successes with respect to private funding for this entity, because initially, there were comments made by me among others that said the private folks have to step up, businesses. And because of your efforts, they have. I don't think the community knows that yet, or it's not very widespread, but perhaps when you hire the new person, there'll be more information about how much of this is being funded by entities that are already here, private companies that want this community to grow and be successful.
Just a small breakdown, basically, you know, the initiative for the city being a part of it and the county being a part of it, that was about 50%, and as the county asked us to go out and prove that the private sector would be involved in it, we went out, several of us, and we haven't received a no yet, and we're very close to fulfilling the balance of 50%. So,
Good.
what we felt we needed to start the organization, and all those private investors were asked to make a 5-year commitment to it, so we can just have 1-year commitment, then they go away, and we can't have time to make this a great organization.
Good.
Did you mention where we're at on hiring the CEO or president?
We're into the final stages of it. We had our search committee the last month in particular. We've been, we had a lot of good applications. We got it narrowed down to 5, then down to 3, and we're into the final stages now. Probably at least 4 out of the 5 finals would have been excellent choice. So we feel real good. We're just not quite, we haven't got it all quite done yet. Should be soon, though.
What else we got going on? We got the port still going on.
I'm sorry, the what?
The
Oh,
port,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm trying to think
And
what
this-
other projects we're working on right now.
Missy, I don't know if there's anything else to mention.
Yeah, I would just mention, we've been very busy in business attraction also. In fact, I have a RFI that's due by the end of today for a company. We have been working the last 4 months, and we haven't really talked a lot about it. We will be talking to the investors about it Thursday. A very large project, probably the largest project I've ever worked, $400 million investment, 1,500 jobs in the food industry. And so we've been working on that project for about the last 4 months. And we just recently found out we were one of 11 sites that they were looking at in 4 states. And we just found out last week that we are eliminated. So they had concerns about our site and flooding issues. We were proposing a site close to the proposed port site out in our industrial park. And they were looking at about 125 acres. And so we did get down to the top 11, which I was proud of that fact, but I was hoping to make it to the top 3 or 4 communities. And like I said, we just found out that we were eliminated. It would have been a big impact for Jefferson City, a big impact for Cole County. We would have been drawing workforce from 45 miles around. It would have been a top paying employer. But again, didn't come to fruition, and we worked really hard on it for the last 3 or 4 months. And proud about the team that we assembled. They were very complimentary of our community and the team that we assembled. Larry participated in one of the site visits. So it was a little bit of a heartbreaker, but we keep on moving down the road and continue working other projects.
As we're learning more and more about each, myself, I know Missy's been doing it for 19, 20 years, but, you know, our site selection is tough, you know, Cole County. 2 of the other sites that they were looking at in Missouri, you know, pretty much flat ground. The site that we have out at Militia Drive area, you know, did get flooded in '93. So, but, you know, for them to spend that kind of money, that was a big concern for them. Needed a site that was never gonna flood.
Did not to drill into it too far, but did we pass the workforce requirement area of it, that size?
We had lots of conversations about workforce. In fact, they said the site and workforce were their two top concerns. And so we provided some information. We did a labor study several years ago. We provided that information to them, and it showed the workforce patterns, how people would drive certain amounts for certain amount of dollars. The higher the rate, of course, the longer people would drive to a job. And this particular employer was going to start at $19 an hour, which would have been our top paying employer. And so, you know, out in that area, there's about 3,000 employees just out in the industrial park alone. And so I think that they would have been able to find their employees. They're an agriculture type based business, and it's right up Jefferson City and Cole County's line of our employees. Were agriculture based. They would have been able to utilize that type of workforce, and I think it would have worked beautifully. State Tech being down the road, tapping into Lincoln University and their farm. I think it would have been a perfect situation had our site been perfect for them, and our site was just not perfect for them.
Did they require railroad?
They did require rail.
Okay.
And that, you know, that hampered our
Yeah,
ability
yeah.
to propose sites as well. If they didn't need the rail, we would have had other
Yeah, we could have stuck them out
opportunities
west,
for them.
Harry's.
We've got rail out west.
Just kind of an ironic part of it in the reviews process of it. When we were out on site the morning of, a railroad was parked right there by Militia Drive at the entrance to National Guard. And it was stopped when we went out to the site, and then on our way back, it started up and we had to wait at the railroad crossing 2, 3, 4 minutes.
Long minutes.
Long minutes. And in the review process, they talked about, you know, if they were going to come to our site, then we would have to some way have a bridge, another bridge over that. And they used the example of, you know, if our shift starts at 6 o'clock, everything happens. All 600 people have to be on site and ready to go to work. At 6 o'clock and 15 seconds, something else happens, and that has to happen immediately. At 6:01, something happens. He said if that railroad car comes across and we're trying to get 600 people to the site to go to work on time, he said that throws our entire production out of whack. That was pretty interesting.
So I think we learned a lot through the process. Again, I don't like losing, and so the fact that we didn't make it to the top 3 or 4 was a little bit of a heartbreaker for us, but then it makes us realize that we really have to take a hard look at our inventory, and maybe that's a site that we no longer propose, you know. But again, we're very limited on rail-served sites in Jefferson City and Cole County, and I think the J.C. rep is really gonna have to take a hard look at our inventory going forward.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
We will move to approval and signing of change order for Waterford Road and Mount Hope Road gravel road upgrade project number 2017-901 and 2017-9021.
Okay, this is just the final closeout with S&A Equipment and Builders. It was a deduct overall of $17,154.82 for a final contract amount of $1,448,127.40, and we would recommend approval.
Good.
Good.
Me too.
Make a motion to approve the change order number 1 for project number 2017-901-1 and 902-1.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Approval and signing of change order for 2021 pavement preservation seal program, project number 2021-503-1.
Okay, this is the pavement preservation seal program with Corrective Asphalt Materials. The work was recently completed. There were 2 items. There was a calculation error on Highland Way quantity, and then Scribner Road quantity. We had some extra intersection work that we added for an increase to the contract of $2,689.02 for a final contract amount of $131,778.90, and we recommend approval.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'll make a motion to approve and sign change order number 1, project number 2021-503-1.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
And do we have anything else?
I was gonna, since we were talking about the on-site wastewater treatment stuff, throw Christie under the bus here. Just kind of clarify, because I've had questions too about if the county is actually going out and testing people's sewage.
We are
And
not.
So I just wanted to get that clarified. And
Is it a complaint-driven situation, Joe or Christie?
The sewer shed data or our on-site wastewater?
Well, maybe both.
So if there is the on-site wastewater sewage complaints are obviously complaint driven, and it has to be by a aggrieved party. So it has to be affecting, your land.
Your
or
neighbor.
something- Right, neighbor, something like that. So if you're just driving by and you think you see somebody's sewage in the street, you wouldn't necessarily be an aggrieved party. So that is complaint driven. But anytime anyone builds a new house out in the county and they cannot connect to city sewer, they have to install their own wastewater treatment system. The state mandates that anyone that installs those systems has to be a registered installer, unless they're a homeowner, which of course we're removing that provision because number one, they're not installing compliant systems, or number two, it's taking our staff a whole lot of hand-holding to help them to design that system, and we really shouldn't be doing that for the homeowner. They need to be working with a registered installer. So that was the main change. Now,
Yeah.
the sewer shed data, that is something that the state is doing. They're not going to individual homes, of course, and getting samples from their sewer. It's from the collective sewer shed from like the city. We had some questions about people saying, well, can you tell if it's from a hotel or a business or someone's home, or if the person's from out of town? No, we're not taking the samples at the source. We're taking them from the collective sewer shed. So it's the collective system. The state is doing that. I think it's a project with the University of Missouri. I don't know if it's a student-led project, but we don't have any part in that project. We do get the data, though.
well, I think their concern is they're finding something in the genetics and then they're quarantining people and they just want to make sure we weren't participating in it. And I was like, we don't have staff to do that. We
No.
can barely take care of what we got going on, so
Agreed.
we're not. And
How many sewer sheds are there in the county that this being collected from? Is it only the Jefferson City
It's
sewer?
only Jefferson City.
Okay.
And I can send you the link for that data if you want to look at it. And Chris pointed out that they kind of have, on the map, it outlines the city, and then it says the population is 75,000. Well, we know that's not accurate. They're taking the county population and applying it to the Jeff City sewer, so they don't exactly have their data right either.
Right, but there is a fair amount of the county outside of the city limits that uses that sewer system.
That's true.
And actually, is Holt Summit still hooked to part of it, or something in Callaway comes that way? Some of Callaway comes that way,
I bet some does, but I don't know how much.
yeah. Not to say that, you can't tell if it came from Callaway, or you can't tell if it came from Grays Creek, or you can't
Right.
tell if it came from the east side of Jefferson City.
Or a business,
the
or
west
someone
side.
that
Or the
was from
west
out of
side.
town.
Or, yeah, for the hotel,
Right.
or a wedding reception, or
Correct.
whatever.
yeah, I just wanted to bring it up while you were here. There was kind of some unfounded fears, I think, but I just wanted to clarify.
The unfounded fears are the best ones, that are the wildest ones.
We hear some
Yeah.
interesting ones.
Now, especially the chips they're putting in your arm.
The quarters that stick, someone
Yeah.
did that.
They gotta track you. I mean, it's not because you don't have a phone with you all the time. They already know where you're at and what you're doing. I get messages on my phone about this or that because we just got done talking about it. It's kind of creepy. So I'm gonna go off the grid, go back to the dial-up phone.
Okay.
All right, you better hurry up or you're losing me.
Okay, well, I've got one other thing, and I
Oh,
think
boy.
I brought this up. The Bicentennial Missouri 2021 is doing a time capsule. And if we would want to, organizations, institutions, businesses, as well as local and state government agencies in Missouri are invited to participate by contributing 3 items, one to represent your past, one to represent your present, and a note to future Missourians. So we have until August 10th to do an online contribution to the State Historical Society if we want to do that. So anyway, I'm just throwing it out there.
Got any ideas? It's gonna be
No.
online?
Yeah.
So you send a picture of what do you want put in there?
Item should not measure no larger than 8.5 by 14, i.e. no larger than a legal size paper, and combined be no more than a 1/4 inch thick. So we can send a picture of ourselves. That can be present.
About a selfie.
Never mind. Anyway,
I
that's
mean,
all
you
I
can
have.
Send a bicentennial, one of our bicentennial coins for the past, and then we can either.
Can't be more than a 1/4 inch thick. Okay. Legal, yeah.
So.
Okay, well, we'll think about it, and we've got till the 10th. Anybody has any good ideas, let me know. Okay. Anything else before we go into closed session?
A motion pursuant to section 610.021 RSMO, the commission will go into closed session to discuss the following: existing or proposed security systems under section 610.021, paren 19, close paren.
Second.
Roll call?
Harry,
Aye.
Sam,
Aye.
Jeff.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, did we want to say anything about Eric? If we're already in closed session?